On trial for killing a teenager who vanished 18 years ago. Her father arrives to hear the case against the man who denies. From Becky and me, and welcome to the start of a brand new week.
First tonight, a jury's been told today that a man on trial accused of killing a teenager from Essex is already serving a life sentence for the murder of a 15-year-old girl.
Peter Tobin from Johnson near Glasgow denies killing 18-year-old Dinah McNicol from Tillingham. She was last seen hitchhiking home 18 years ago after a music festival in Hampshire. Well, today, her father was there to hear the case against the man accused of killing her. Our reporter Tom Barton has been in court today. Well, Tom, it's actually not the first time that Tobin's stood trial for this, is it?
No, it's not, Jonathan. Some viewers may remember that Peter Tobin went on trial for the murder of Dinah McNicol back in June this year. But just a few days after that case got underway, Tobin was taken ill and the trial had to be abandoned. Well, today a new jury was sworn in, and just after midday, the case got underway again. A convicted child killer and rapist arrives at Chelmsford Crown Court to stand trial for the murder of 18-year-old Dinah McNicol more than 18 years ago. Peter Tobin was the man in the dock today. The 63-year-old from Renfrewshire in Scotland is accused of killing Dinah between August 4th, 1991 and January 1st, 1992. In August 1991, Dinah had attended a music festival in Liphook in Hampshire. While she was there, she met a man, David Tremlett, and spent much of the weekend with him. On Monday, August 5th, the pair began hitchhiking up the A3 towards London. Their second lift was from a man driving on his own. David Tremlett was dropped off at junction 8 of the M25, leaving Dinah alone in the car with the driver. This was the last time anyone who knew Dinah saw her alive. In the weeks that followed, withdrawals were made from Dinah's bank account in Margate, Ramsgate, Portsmouth and Brighton, the final one on August 26th. Today, David Tremlett told the court that he didn't like the driver of the car because of his over-familiar manner and had wanted Dinah to get out. Dinah's father, Ian McNicol, arrived at court to hear the evidence against the man accused of killing his daughter. This is the second such trial. A previous one in June was abandoned when Tobin was taken ill. Mr McNicol spent 16 years with only questions about what had happened to his daughter. Questions which were answered in November 2007 when police dug up the garden at Peter Tobin's former home in Margate. Here, Dinah's body was found wrapped in black and green bin liners. Bin liners, the court was told, which had Tobin's thumb and fingerprints on them. Dinah had been drugged with a substance called amitriptyline. Another body was also found in that garden in Margate, the body of 15-year-old Vicky Hamilton. Vicky had also been drugged with amitriptyline, and today the jury was told that Peter Tobin is already serving a life sentence for her murder after being found guilty by a jury in Scotland. The jury was also told that Tobin has a previous conviction for the rape and indecent assault of two 14-year-old girls, in which he had also administered amitriptyline, a drug which he had been prescribed. For Ian McNicol, the hope must be that this trial will finally answer his questions about what happened to Dinah all those years ago.
Must be incredibly difficult for him. Tom, what more can you tell us about Dinah McNicol?
Well, Dinah lived in the village of Tillingham. Now, that's a rural community about 20 miles away from here in Chelmsford. The court heard she'd been a pupil at the Chelmsford County High School for Girls, and during the summer that she disappeared, she'd been expecting her A-level results. Now, tragically, those results came through after she disappeared. In fact, her father, Ian, found them as he was going through her post looking for clues about what had happened to her. She had, in the end, passed all 4 A-levels. The case against Peter Tobin is expected to continue here at Chelmsford tomorrow.
All right, Tom, thank you very much indeed for that. Now, there's been severe disruption for rail passengers travelling between Norwich and London Liverpool Street today after copper thieves struck for the 4th time in just 10 days.
The latest theft happened overnight at Boreham near Chelmsford and caused major delays for commuters. Many services had to be cancelled, with buses running passengers between some of our main stations. Victoria Webb reports.
Engineers working hard at Boreham near Chelmsford today, repairing the damage caused by thieves who have once again targeted our railways searching for copper. 100 metres of cable was stolen, causing a live wire to spark and destroy 15 metres of signalling cable. Services were cancelled or dramatically reduced, leaving some travellers waiting for hours.
Well, it's 9 o'clock now. There are no trains currently running between Chelmsford and Colchester. There are replacement buses, but it does mean a very difficult journey into work for hundreds of commuters.
Where I'm going, there's no buses going there at the moment, so I've just had to call my husband to come and get me.
It's been pretty horrendous. We started off normal time, got to Ipswich, and then we've just basically been sat still.
Coming from Harwich, we left at like 7 o'clock this morning, trying to get to Chelmsford. We can't get any further.
With trains between Norwich and Colchester reduced to an hourly service, there was equal frustration in Ipswich.
Slightly disconcerting the fact that vandals can keep removing cable from the railway lines when and seemingly without any problems, only stopping from the police, and I can't understand how this can happen.
There are no alternative ways of getting into London from here, and I think it's scandalous.
Today was supposed to be a good day for National Express and its passengers, with the company planning to announce improvements that would add thousands of extra seats on new and refurbished trains. Instead, they had to deal with another day of disruption due to problems beyond their control. The fourth act of vandalism in just 10 days. The first attempt took place in the early hours of the 5th of December at Brick House just north of Chelmsford. When thieves realised the cable was aluminium, they ran off. On the 7th of December, cable was taken at Long Green Crossing near Marks Tay. In the early hours of Saturday, it was Rye Mill Lane in Kelvedon that was targeted. And overnight, cable was stolen at Boreham near Hatfield Peveril. These thefts alone have caused 15,000 minutes of delays.
We're very conscious of the disruption that's been caused against sort of recent improvements in performance. I'm very sorry for it, and we're doing all we can to prevent any further thefts.
For every minute of delays caused by these thefts, Network Rail has to pay National Express a fine. In the last 3 years, that's amounted to £1.7 million in East Anglia. Money they say could have been spent on improving our railways. Tonight, British Transport Police are stepping up patrols in this hotspot area and warning scrap metal dealers and the public to remain vigilant. Although trains are running this evening, there are some cancellations, and it will be a while before services return to normal. Victoria Webb, Anglia News.
And there have been big problems on the roads today too, with major tailbacks for motorists using the A14 in Cambridgeshire. A car and a lorry collided on the road between St Ives and Swavesey just after noon. No one was seriously injured, but the westbound carriageway was closed and the eastbound carriageway reduced to one lane. It had a major knock-on effect for miles around, including here at Caxton, west of Cambridge. Police say the road has now reopened.
A senior police officer in Essex has gone on trial charged with fiddling his expenses. Chief Inspector Jonathan Baldwin, seen here at an earlier hearing, is accused of fraud relating to false mileage claims. The 42-year-old denies 3 counts of fraud relating to journeys between December 2007 and March 2008. The prosecution say the expenses were £310. When he was interviewed, he blamed the claims on administrative errors. The case at Ipswich Crown Court continues.
The Labour Party has selected its parliamentary candidate for the Luton South seat, being vacated by Margaret Moran at the next election. Gavin Shuker went to Luton Sixth Form College before going on to study at Cambridge University. Margaret Moran's been on sick leave since announcing she'll step down at the general election following controversy over her expenses claims.
What she did in claiming for her third home is indefensible, and as our candidate, I won't defend it. I was selected by local party members because I went door by door and asked people to put their trust in me. That's exactly what I'll do in this forthcoming general election.
A court has